When I introduced the segment we did on Reno a couple of days back, I used one word to summarize that stop. That word was cold. Today I'll go with a similar theme. When I think back to April 23rd of 1991 and our stop at the High Desert Mavericks in Adelanto, California, the one word I would use is remote. That Tuesday morning we had driven from Hollywood, where Steve, Sue's brother, was living, and we drove over to Adelanto, and my recollection is that the first thing we did was we stopped at a big municipal building, which is basically the only building aside from the baseball park. And we looked at a bunch of plans for how the city was going to grow. We'll talk about it a little bit in the video. But it didn't quite turn out that way, as you'll see. And the High Desert Mavericks moved out after the 2016 season and are no longer part of the California League. But it was a pretty amazing run, and we were at game number 2 in that ballpark. So this is thinking back to April 23rd of 1991, the High Desert Mavericks, who were hosting the Reno Silver Sox, who we had seen earlier. April 23rd, stop number 15 on Bill and Sue's Excellent Adventure.
Adelanto, California. One of the last teams we'll see in the California League, but certainly not one of the least. This is a brand new stadium, day 2 of operation, the home of the High Desert Mavericks. Mavericks are an affiliate of the San Diego Padres and are owned by the Brett brothers, Ken and George, as well as a couple of other people. And they have invested in one of the finest facilities, certainly in the California League.
I suppose that statement could be debatable, even in 1991, but there's nothing quite like the feel of a brand new stadium, and they don't get a lot newer than this one was. New car smell and new stadium smell aren't quite the same thing, but there's something equally intoxicating about both, and we were so captivated with the newness of the place that I sat down to tell our audience about it.
One of the things that it seems that they've really tried to do in High Desert is set the seats up so that everybody gets a good shot of the stadium and the action that's going on around us. I sit right now maybe 12 rows up on the third base side, but this is a pretty good seat, and it doesn't look like there are very many bad seats in High Desert here. It's a beautiful new stadium, and one that really seems like it was built for the fans.
As you can see over the outfield fence, the rest of the area had not yet caught up with the ballpark. There wasn't much beyond the fences to look at except power lines, but the low design of the field did offer protection against a fairly persistent high desert wind, and it was a pleasant afternoon. As I look around the ballpark now in the videotape, it looks like a lot of ballparks, but it really is striking how much this place was in seemingly the middle of nowhere.
Is the view in from center field at Mavericks Stadium on a windy night, April 23rd. Reno against the High Desert Mavericks. The second night at Mavericks Stadium. Country night, we're told tonight. And perhaps a full house. Fans continue to stream in.
At least initially, Mavericks Stadium seemed to be evidence of the validity of the Field of Dreams theorem that says, if you build it, they will come. The place was a beehive of activity all afternoon, and sometime in the 5s, people started to arrive for the game that still wouldn't start until 7. We were both impressed by something we hadn't seen at any of the other parks in the California League, parking lot attendants, guiding people to the right place to park.
First one we've seen in the California League so far. Cars streaming into the parking lot for the second night of action at High Desert.
Inside, the crowd was quite excited about their team, and had already learned how to do the wave on just the second day in existence.
Here we are at Mavericks Stadium's very own Hardball Cafe. For just a small cover charge, you can have drinks and food brought right out to you.
Not long after Sue had wrapped up this segment about the cafe, the Mavericks put the finishing touches on a 4-1 win. They ended up leading both the league in attendance and winning the championship in that inaugural season. But the newness had worn off by the time I returned in 2003, and in 2016, the Mavericks were one of 2 teams eliminated when the California League contracted after that season. On multiple fronts, the plans that you're about to hear haven't, at least to this point, taken shape.
Just to the right of this intersection, though, is the Adelanto Municipal Building. And in it, on the walls of the City Council, are plans for dozens of housing projects and other types of building that is to be going on in the town of Adelanto. The High Desert Mavericks are only a small part of this growth, but there are plans for an international airport and a train route that will carry trains that go 215 miles an hour to nearby Orange County where people can work. What we may be looking at in Adelanto is the beginning of California's next city.
If you haven't already, I hope you'll check out the low mileage tour on findamerica.org. There'll be a post to go along with each video, and coming soon, maps of each day's journey, some other interesting links in the area, and some ways in which we might be able to help folks in that area to lessen the impact of the coronavirus. I hope you'll check it out at findamerica.org/LMT2020.